Hey you guys, it's me Gemstone. I hope you're doing well. Oh my gosh, you guys are always seeing me at different angles like in this room because I have to like always be switching up where I am, especially now because like I just get so uncomfortable. Like I had it my laptop where I was recording last time, like we were over there, and it's just I just can't sit there like oh my gosh, like I sat for a bit, then I got up and the cramp like in my leg was just ridiculous. So I feel a little bit more comfortable, like being more on the edge of my bed today. So, because obviously I'm getting bigger and bigger and bigger. My due date is really soon. I have like 2 more weeks pretty much, and then baby will be here. Yay! So, yeah, I'm going through all of that. What I wanted to do is this was supposed to be like a reading video, so I think like that's what I'm gonna stick to. I'm gonna just stick to it being like a reading video, and I'm using the Secret Language of Color cards, and this is a deck that was supposed to be a part of the reviews that I did, because I bought this deck around that same time around the Christmas time, but I completely forgot to include this one, and it's by Inner Seagull. And I personally was interested in it for a very long time, but I just just stayed on my wish list for ages. I like the idea of working with color cards because I really do believe in color therapy. I believe in the benefits of using color, especially to help you in terms of moods, in terms of even using them to harness a certain kind of energy. Is I think sometimes we can even forget like how color really contributes to our own well-being, how we can use them in really like helpful ways, especially if you're trying to manifest certain things. You want to kind of get support in certain things, like the same way I mentioned when I did the rune reading or the review for the rune deck, like using the talisman cards and carrying them on you to kind of embody that energy. Color can do the same thing for you, like depending on what you're wearing, you can bring forth a certain kind of energy, a certain kind of vibe. Same thing with the atmosphere you're in, having your room painted a certain color, all that kind of stuff has a different kind of feeling. So in that case, that's the reason why I bought this room deck, and that's the reason why I also have others that I want to buy in the future, to also be able to use them and add them to readings as well. These cards, they have images on them. Some decks that you get that are color cards don't have images, and I really want to invest in one that doesn't have images. So I'm literally just reading the color that's on there. But I don't think that it's a bad thing that it has these images on them. Um, because obviously like though it also that also contributes to the reading as well. Sometimes you can gain things like from the images too, so that's entirely okay. What I wanted to do with this reading is I asked the card something specific this time because I wanted a message that could resonate with all of us that's watching this video. And I know that a lot of us and a lot of people that watch my channel are spiritually inclined in some kind of way. And I think sometimes, especially when you are the type that you've either decided or opted to um, leave a certain religion behind, or you've opted to be open to other kinds of uh, ways of um, yeah, in terms of your spiritual practice, or in terms of just opening up your mind to different forms of spirituality and stuff like that. It can be difficult for people to accept the changes that you've made and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes people can be very judgmental. I think especially if you have left behind um, as a organized religion where maybe you had friends and family members that were also a part of that religion. Sometimes they don't really get when you've left it or when you've moved on to something else. But I think spirit always knows in which way to guide us. And I think some people are more open to trusting spirit and trusting the process of where you're led to. And that's kind of how I feel in terms of my own spirituality, that it came to a point where I had to trust that where I was being led from and guided towards was the right process for me. And I feel like that transition happened for me years ago. And to be honest, I've never looked back since, and I've never regretted any of the decisions I've made in terms of leaving behind organized religion in order to pursue just what feels right for me in terms of my own personal connection with divine source, and developing that. So what I did ask the cards is basically, how do we cope when people are judging us, or when people are kind of making us feel that what we're doing is wrong, and almost trying to indoctrinate us again into faith that we've left behind or something like that. And the very first card that showed up, which I really like, is silver, and it says be persistent. And so with that message, I felt like it was really clear, that first card, because it's basically telling you you need to be strong in your convictions. You need to be strong in your own beliefs. It's like whatever path you have taken, you have to be confident that that was the right path for you at that time. It's not to say that you're going to be on that path forever. It may lead you into a different faith, into a different even religion. It may lead you into a different practice altogether. It may mean that you go to all different places, and just to experience the divine in all different ways. And it's like, regardless, there's no right or wrong process in spirituality, because it's all about what resonates with you and where spirit guides you to. And I think with that, we have to kind of trust the process, and we just have to be steadfast. And especially when people try to question us or try to um you know tell us that this isn't the way to do things, is just staying strong and saying, okay, well, I respect where you're coming from, but this is what I need to do for myself. Like, this is my own journey, this is my own experience. I need to experience this in the way that my soul sees fit, because we're not all here to live the same life. We're not all here to go through the same processes. We're all here to go through our own personal experiences. And so I think sometimes people tend to forget that aspect of things, and people want to almost treat us like we're just sheep, like we're just meant to just follow what we're told, and we're just supposed to go ahead with whatever it is put in front of us. And it's like, no, that's not the case. I think we as human beings are much more complicated than that, and we have to kind of go with, again, also what feels right in our own nature as well. And so I think with the persistence card and silver is almost trying to remind us that we do, like, silver is a precious metal, so it is almost like showing us that our spirituality is something that is very precious. It is something that is very special, so therefore it's like we can't expect everyone to go through the same process. It's also like and what just came to mind for me talking about this card is, sometimes we give jewelry as a gift, like silver jewelry, and it's almost like saying that same thing, like our spirituality is a gift that we have onto ourselves. It's a very unique gift, it's a very special one. And so it's almost like we have to almost take care of it, and nurture it, and not feel like somebody else, like our like that like the gift that we've been given is the same thing, that is the same as a gift that somebody else has been given. It's all different depending on the person and the individual. So that's the silver card. The next card, which is a highly spiritual card, is purple, which is deep mental clarity. And I think that basically is saying that we can't be confused or distracted when it comes to our journey. I think sometimes, especially when we let people that doubt us like really get into our minds, we tend to be we start to question ourselves. And sometimes in questioning ourselves, it brings about more confusion and brings about more sort of lack of understanding. But it's saying about developing mental clarity. So it's almost like saying knowing how to free your mind of doubt, or free your mind of allowing people to have that kind of control over what you think or over what you feel. It's almost like when you're in a state of meditation, being able to allow your mind to find a space where it's calm, where there isn't a whole bunch of chatter and you're not over analyzing things. It's just about you being one with that connection, and again trusting that connection, trusting the process, and just not not letting confusion get in the way or overthinking certain things. So I think mental clarity is definitely important, and I think sometimes the simplest the simplest solution can have such a big impact. And so just being able to kind of just keep a level head can be so meaningful in the process. So the next card is Coral, and it says allow flow and synchronicity into your life. And I really like that card coming up, because to me, when it says allowing flow, flow is just literally just allowing things to be what they are. It's like you're not judging anything, you're not forcing anything, you're not trying to control anything. It's just like you're just going with the process. And so because of that, it's natural. It's just happening, and you're just allowing and trusting the universe that okay, it's fine for me to just allow you to just take the reins, and I'll just go along with where everything ends up. Synchronicity is about receiving the answers that you've been wanting, and seeing them just showing up in your life in, again, a very natural way. You don't always have to be, hoping and praying and wishing for an answer. Sometimes the answers just come. And I think the more in tune you are spiritually, the easier the answers come to you just naturally, the easier things feel to you, like you just have a better understanding of things. So and I think for me that was such a huge thing that made such a huge difference to me in my own spiritual journey, is that I kind of found that before I really was able to kind of develop my own personal spiritual journey, um there was so much confusion in my own mind. There was confusion as to things I was taught that to me just didn't quite make sense to me. And then there was even more confusion in terms of, wow, feeling like I always had to almost be asking, begging, and hoping for a better life for myself. And when you don't see the changes and you keep on asking but you don't really see anything, then you end up being frustrated. But it's almost like, for me now, being kind of wiser, being having again more faith, trusting more, I just can see, and I know that the process that I want to go through or where I want to be can always happen for me, because I understand that we live in a world that is full of possibilities, and there's nothing that I'm limited to in terms of my own potential, what I want to see happen in my life, or anything like that. So when it comes to synchronistic events, I believe and I know that things are going to fall into place in a synchronistic way when I need them to, how I want them to, if I trust the process and trust that the universe is always going to provide the answers for me, because the answers are always there. It's just a case of seeing them, knowing what they are, and again allowing yourself to trust the process instead of trying to force something. And it's sort of like you're forcing something but you're blind at the same time, and you can't see the solutions. So I really like that Coral card showing up. I really love this message. And Indigo, which showed up previously, when I first was thinking of a question to ask the cards, this card came up, and Indigo, improve your vision. And so I really love this one as well, because indigo is a very highly spiritual color. and it's the color that really connects us with this kind of energy, this universal energy. And you can see it's like the galaxy, it's like everything being possible, everything being out there, and it's like a card that is all encompassing, you know. And so with improve your vision, it's almost like saying that we have to improve our own outlook in terms of our own life, and again what is possible for us, what we can create and what we can bring in. Everything is possible. um but I think everything does start off with a vision. If you can envision something, then you know for sure that you can achieve it. But sometimes we can't even envision certain possibilities in our lives because we just feel like it's just so impossible for us to ever reach there, or for us to obtain certain things. And so we just don't see the potential. But we have to be able to open up our minds to seeing the potential and to understanding that, and to also connect with other kinds of energies that are outside of this world, that help us to manifest, that help us to create, connecting with those energies all the time as well. Because again, like I said, like this color is a very highly spiritual color. So this is more when you are connected with the divine and you are becoming one with source. We can find that there is so much potential in that connection, and that is almost like the divine will help you to open up your mind to be able to create certain things that you thought wasn't obtainable for you. So yeah, it's like that kind of vibe with that card. I like that one too. And then the last one, which I thought was so really sweet, especially when it comes to dealing with people that go against you, want to question you, or just get on your nerves about the things that you believe and all this other stuff, is the pink card, which is so pretty. And it says, let love in. I like that one. So with like this card, and especially ending this reading on this card, I think this is really great because pink is the color of the heart chakra, as well as green, which is the color of the stem here. So it's about coming from the heart. It's about being loving, being kind, being gentle. Even when people aren't like that towards you, it's almost like reminding us that we don't have to be that way towards other people. We can rise above like drama and arguments or disputes or disagreements that just don't lead anywhere. It's almost like leaving a person, leaving a discussion, but allowing yourself to not hold any resentment against that person, not hold any bad feelings towards them, but just kind of, showing them love anyways, and telling them that, we can agree to disagree, and I can still love you for the person that you are. And even if you don't necessarily feel the same way, about me, or showing me that kind of sense of love, it doesn't mean that I can't be like that towards you, or I can't be sympathetic to your situation. Because I think, especially with these two colors together, there's a lot of healing that can take place, in the heart chakra with pink and with green. And so sometimes we have to understand that, we may have certain things that we're healing, or we may have certain emotional things that we're going through, that we're working on. Some other people are in a different phase in their own emotional healing or issues or anything like that. And sometimes when people are putting problems, like judging you or saying certain things, a lot of the time it's their own issues that is bringing up that side of them. you know it's not really to do with you, it's more to do with them. And so it's like, instead of kind of uh going and almost like fighting fire with fire, it's better to just be, again, loving, kind, and diffusing the situation, and to just kind of let them know that it's okay, and to still sort of put out a loving energy anyway, just to heal things over. So yeah, peace and many blessings to you guys. I'll be seeing you. Bye.